So, GB News. Anyone had a chance to
Ooh,
watch any of it?
I have seen bits of it, yes,
What do you think?
but it's Andrew Neil being Andrew Neil. So it's more just he seems to have a space where he can say the kind of stuff that he wants to say. It's still corporate news, so I'm skeptical. Like Sargon says, that he seems to want to be the Tucker Carlson of the UK, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, based. I I would still feel a bit skeptical of it because of the fact that it does look like a layer. Um, it does look like the Death Star, if the Death Star did news. Bit boomerish, yeah. Cap Starship, yeah. That's the best phrase. It's a bit boomerish. But it's better than the BBC and Sky News, but again, it's not saying much. So, suppose we can probably see where that goes. I imagine it'll probably be, considering the launch it's had and the massive amount of autistic screeching they've gotten before they even made their own first fucking news segment, says a lot about it. The fact that it just has people that they know is considered a threat to mainstream media, while still being part of mainstream media, is rather funny. So I'd imagine we see where that goes. And I do find it funny that a lot of people that were screeching autistically about the adverts have now suddenly gone, ooh, they haven't done anything yet. Maybe we should pull back the adverts. Yes, because you still want to buy those products, you bunch of wankers.
I'll be right back.
Well,
Let me use the
yeah.
bathroom.
I mean, like some of them as well. You've got to think, like, what they pointed out is that the main view so far, the main viewers of GB News are sort of middle-aged white guys. It's like, who has all the money? You know, might not be the best idea to
Cap, who's the gay guy?
Say what now?
You mean do you mean Dan? And this is a different gay guy that I don't know about. I don't think Dan's gay.
What?
Yeah, one of the guys apparently is gay. The only one I could think of being gay is Dan something who used to be at Talk Radio. I don't know if it's him though. It could be somebody else, and I could look like a royal twat right now.
No idea.
Yeah,
I don't see such well.
is it Dan Wooten you're talking about? I don't know if he's done segments. Is it Kiwi? Yeah,
Right, banning Robert Longshore.
Yeah, I just think it shouldn't really matter to these companies. They're not they're sort of going on with people sort of saying you're not really supporting the channel. What you're doing is exchanging money for advertising space. It doesn't really matter to you it shouldn't really matter what's around it.
Yeah, I've never thought I saw an advert on any kind of channel and thought it has anything to do with the programming on. That's never occurred to me. Like, even with things that I like, if I saw something that I thought like, oh, that's kind of gay, I don't give a shit. I don't understand why you would support something associated with unless it's something really, really horrible,
I just don't think that the average person thinks like that.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
What the average person thinks of is, oh god, not another fucking ad, and then just tunes off. The average person doesn't give a shit, they just want the ad to fuck off.
Yeah. Which is one of the reasons I don't want to get into advertising, even though I have the voice for it. It's because I feel like, I'm doing the thing that I pisses me off all the time.
It's this illusion that the screeching vast minority creates that people actually give a shit kind of thing. No, you just do the YouTube ad partners thing, and it's like, the company is just like, okay, I don't know. whatever video it happens to be on, people see that, and most people will be fine by that. It's only the vocal minority that causes shit like the Adpocalypse.
Yeah, Twitter has a lot to answer for, really.
If my channel grows to the point where I can get ads on it, my rule of thumb will be: do you sell bread? Yes. Okay, then you can be on that. But everywhere else, like anything else with simple sugars, you can piss off. I'll only have based carbs on my channel. No Pepsi, no Coke. If you're some sort of woke
Hovis.
company, you can eat a dick.
Just Hovis and Warburtons.
Wait, has Pepsi done some woke shit that I'm not familiar with?
I think it means they can fuck off with the sugar, but no.
I think
that too.
In all fairness, Warburtons have done the best bread adverts of all time.
This is gonna sound so degenerate.
Those Battle of the Britain ones are just fucking unreal.
This is gonna sound so degenerate, but when I was like young, the soda.
You cut during most of that. Is that how degenerate?
I didn't get a word of it.
No, when I was like younger, I used to drink like a soda a day.
Oh God.
Well, to be fair, when you're younger and you're running around like a mad idiot, that's kind of alright. You're at least working off all the sugar.
About 10 liters a day or something.
Well,
no, it was just one a day.
Up until about 35, I was basically powered entirely by tea, Coca-Cola, and cocaine. So,
well, that's the thing about caffeinated sodas, is that I do not at all have a taste for coffee or tea. So it's like my caffeine options are significantly less healthy, but I also don't rely on caffeine to function. So that's probably a good thing.
I am powered mostly by caffeine.
Yes. On the topic of
I'm a double espresso, 2 seconds out of bed, double espresso. That's pretty much mine.
Of course, I am drinking like at like 2 PM, and I started drinking at like 11:30 in the morning. So, who am I to talk about other people's health choices?
Alcohol doesn't count though.
Yeah, it's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, usually 5 a.m. though.
All right. Well, I mean, and for me, it's also like I wouldn't. It's also like I wouldn't do this normally, but it just happens to fit into the European schedule of the other people I'm with, so it's like a social thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just don't get addicted to opiates, because that shit's nasty.
Not many people on this are on the European schedule.
I'm going to read this. Each angry tweet or article just convinces them that they're martyrs on a burning pyre, even though that pyre is actually made of money, and it's not actually on fire, because nobody thought to hire anyone who knew how fire works. This is a pretty good take, actually. I feel like a good segment for this show would just be like, Spoon, read out funny headlines. Funny, I say funny headlines. What the fuck am I saying?
I mean, if we can get you to read out funny headlines, we can do that too. So, I mean,
yeah, I don't think YouTube would like that though. So
Well,
probably not. Speaking of ads, though, just fair warning.
Actually, I was just going to say, fanny, head, and lines are 3 of my favorite things.
Nice.
In that order?
No. Cocaine.
Or the reverse order.
Yeah, pretty much the reverse order.
Well, don't forget, you can combine these things by snorting cocaine off their tits. That's always not.
I've actually never. That
just seems like a waste of cocaine, really.
I've never actually done that, because every person that I've seen on coke acts like such a spastic.
Yep.
Like there seems to be just a personality. This is the thing for me. This is something that I knew when I grew up in Ireland, and I spent on my teenage years in Ireland. When it comes to either a hobby or a substance, there seems to be a certain personality associated with it, and I will almost invariably go off it just because of the fuckwits associated with it. Like, I noticed in school, all the people that listened to like rap and EDM were just absolute twats. And the same thing with coke, is that every person I've seen who does coke is just an asshole I would never associate with.
Yeah.
And it just radically put me off the thing.
A lot of stuff done, though.
I still don't know. I'm still looking back on myself. Miracle. Fuck, did I get addicted to fentanyl?
Well, because it's really fucking addictive. That's why.
Exactly. But why did I do it? I was just being fucking stupid. Hey, you know, I managed to get myself off of it, and I'm using the same strategy with nicotine right now. I'd say that's a win, right? Like, because that's the thing. Like, the left talks about lived experience, but they only do it from a position of defeat, let's say. So they're only about lived experience if someone is whining about something. Whereas someone like Mike Lindell makes a different argument. He makes the argument, oh yeah, I get former drug addicts to help people quit their addictions because they've been through it. And it's like, okay, or like Sargon, like all these like childless academics are talking about their theories on like raising children who have never had kids themselves. And it's kind of like the thing where it's like, yes, lived experience is useful when you've overcome something, not when you're like miserable with your life and you're coming up with excuses. And that's the ironic thing, is that the left cites lived experience when like it's just somebody whining about shit, but not when they've actually overcome something. And that's like the point where lived experience is useful.
Well, that's because
lived experience is useful when you've actually overcome something, because you have something valuable to give to someone.
The left never have to overcome anything because people move stuff out of their way.
Well, that's the thing.
That's a good phrase.
Having like, I got immediate red flags like set off when I heard that George Floyd did fentanyl. It's like I have experience with that myself, with the effects of it. I'm familiar with the drug. So I'm like, yeah, I know it's like something where it's like opiates. Yeah, they fuck with your breathing. And that's actually why when I was in the hospital after getting run over, because I had like 18 shots that night or something, they had to put me on fentanyl for the pain-killing effect. Mixing alcohol with opiates, like, it fucks up your breathing. You'll stop breathing. So that's why they had me intubated when I woke up. I had like a breathing tube down my throat.
Yeah. I mean, say what you like about opiates, though. They are moorish as fuck.
No, what I will say is that, you know, they are overprescribed in some ways, but if they like do anything, then they have to give you opiates. That's my standard.
A lot of them don't work on me, apparently, which is...
Well, okay, so you had that experience?
You're powered by beer energy.
Yeah, no, I had to get, for a surgery they tried to give me before my last one. They gave me a fentanyl and had zero effect on me at all. And they started the surgery and went, oh! Ow,
well, I have to ask, is it that did they truly have zero effect, or is it just the sensitivity?
No, completely nothing. Huge doses, gave me a second huge dose, went, okay, it's not safe to give you any more of this.
No, because I can say from opiates, I had to spray a shower head after a surgery I underwent, and I was on opiates, and that shit still hurt. But no, with the opiates, the pain went down significantly. But
no.
But when they had to pull a catheter out, like, my urethra was so sore that they had me constantly drugged up on opiates, but I couldn't pee without it like hurting a lot. I couldn't even get like an erection without it hurting. So like, no, I hold the standard. If they do anything with a man's junk, they have to give him opiates.
I didn't get anything this time. They just put me under. But no, it was just completely ineffectual of me, the fentanyl. For whatever reason, I don't know. She said it's just occasionally happens. Some people get it. Whatever receptors or whatever you've got just went, no, not interested. Which kind of sucked. It was during a lithotripsy thing where I'm basically trying to smash up these kidney stones with ultrasound. Which is absolutely excruciating, by the way. I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, ultrasounds are a thing.
Definitely drink more water, guys. That's what I would say.
Shit, yeah, that's good advice.
I was drinking a huge amount of water anyway, and apparently still not enough.
Well, Spoon, at least the thing, though, is that with cocaine, I can at least see the appeal of cocaine. But there are certain drugs where I just don't see the appeal. Like, I wouldn't do cocaine, but I see the appeal. Whereas with something like meth, I'm like, why does anyone fucking do meth or crack?
Because they're fucking idiots beforehand.
The only drug I've wanted to do was heroin.
No.
And if you're wondering why, I read Slash's autobiography.
Yeah.
Here's some cool stories in that. That was pretty cool, though.
Well, the thing is, I've done opiates at least once for the past, like, a year for the past few years. And the thing is, the first of those times was with the fentanyl. It was some stupid recreational shit. Then the other times was, like, purely prescribed. Either I had, like, surgery on my ass, or I had my wisdom teeth taken out, or I got run over by a car. But it's like, I'm hoping 2021 will be the year nothing like that happens.
Yeah, in your dreams.
Or if it runs you over, it finishes the job.
Oh god.
Bus.
I got lucky. Apparently the tire missed my head by like 8.
Also, no, I won't do heroin, don't worry.
Oh.
That's the thing with that's the thing with opiates too. Like, I guess if you do too much of them, you start stumbling around the store like George Floyd was, but if you take like painkiller doses, let's say, of opiates, you feel really good emotionally and physically, but your thought is a lot more clearer than if you had been drinking or like smoking weed or something. So it's like if you do opiates like recreationally, it sneaks up on you because there isn't the same disincentive to not do it. Like with alcohol and weed, if you enjoy that, it's still a thing where you don't do it all the time because it's like, oh, like I have to be sober and do shit. Whereas with opiates, like you can feel good and still be relatively functional mentally, so it sneaks up on you.
I mean, this is true of all drugs. If you use them in moderation, usually fine. Even down to the folk on coke. The folk being arseholes on coke is because they've taken loads of coke.
Well, I mean, that's the point, though.
You don't need to take loads. You can just take a little bit, and you'll have a really good time. And you won't be such an arsehole.
But the point with opiates isn't like just that they're hyper addictive, which they are. It's that they also don't disincentivize they don't incentivize moderation in the same way other drugs do, because there's no unless you do it at like insane levels, there's no like cognitive effect that's going to make you think I need to be sober for this, so I'm not going to do it. So it's like, it's easy. Like with nicotine's the same way. You can just do it like all the time with like a vape or something and still be able to function mentally with the other tasks in your life. So it sneaks up to you to the point where you're doing it all the time. Whereas with like alcohol, you wouldn't do that because you need to. So you only keep alcohol slotted out to a certain part of the day where you've decided, okay, I'm not going to do anything after this.
Well, anything productive.
What I will say about that Robert Longshot is that, I've done 100 micrograms of LSD 4 times, and with the effect 100 micrograms of LSD had, like, I got a lot out of it, right? Like, I was like, oh, my religion makes sense to me now. I understand all this shit. But, like, the fucking... I don't know how I would react to doing DMT and being blasted out of my body and seeing, like, 4-dimensional aliens and shit. Like, no, that's just not something I'm gonna try. So I'm like, I don't think I'd process it.
So Spoons had to go. It was good having him.
Yeah.
Got to get something to eat, I think.
Yeah, I understand that feeling, actually. It has been some time since I last had food.
I pretty much only eat dinner. But that's I don't know. Well, that's something I've been doing before, but it's also like with eating nicotine's an antidepressant. You get a lot more hungry. And so if I can keep that just confined to dinner, then I can stay on a relatively like decent carb amount for the day. Or calorie amount, I should say.
Yeah. Do we have any anything else you boys want to talk about? Or are we done?
There was like this thing in the US where, let me see if I can find an article.
Hi, I hope you enjoyed this segment from the Sultans of Shadilay podcast.
If you like this segment, please click like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out the full podcast in the description below.